Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is for the students of class 6 of I.C.S.E. board. This is the part 2 of this chapter. The name of the chapter is force. The subject is physics. I have done the exercise of this chapter. Now come to the topic. Question 11 of part B. What do you mean by the gravitational force? Give an example to illustrate it. Answer. Gravitational force is the force of attraction on a body by earth. Example. Leaves and fruits fall from a tree downwards towards the ground due to the gravitational pull. If you fail to understand what I have written in this copy, then listen to my words carefully. You will be able to understand anything. You will be able to understand everything. Define the term. Question 12. Weight of a body. Answer. Weight of a body. The force with which the earth attracts a body towards the center is called the weight of the body. It depends on acceleration due to gravity. Question 13. What do you understand by the term friction? Answer. Friction. The force which opposes the relative motion between the two surfaces that are in contact with each other is called the force of friction. Now come to the next question. Question 14. Give an example to illustrate the existence of force of friction. Answer. If we stop paddling our bicycle, it gradually slows down and ultimately stops after moving for a few seconds. This happens due to frictional force between bicycle tires and the ground. Question 15. What is the cause of friction? Answer. Friction is caused by interlocking of the irregular projection on the two surfaces in contact. Question 16. State two factors which directly affect the force of friction. Answer. The two factors which directly affect the force of friction are A. The smoothness of the surface. B. Mass of the body. Come to the next question 17. In which case will there be more friction between the truck and the road? When the truck is empty or when it is loaded? Answer. Friction will be more in the first case, easiest when the truck is loaded. Explanation. Loaded truck has higher mass than the empty truck. Mass of the body directly affect the force of friction. Come to the next question. Question 18. Which offers more friction on a body, a glass surface or a wooden surface? Answer. Wooden surface offers more friction on a body compared to glass surface because of its roughness. Number 19. Name the three kinds of friction. The three kinds of friction are option A, static friction, option B, sliding friction, option C or number C, rolling friction. Number A, static friction, number B, sliding friction, number C, rolling friction. Number 20, list 3 disadvantages of friction. Answer. 3 disadvantages of friction are: Point 1. Friction produces heat which damages the moving parts of a machine. B. Friction produces wear and tear on contacting surfaces. This reduces the life of machine parts, tires and shoe soles. Point C. A lot of energy is wasted in overcoming the friction before an object starts moving. Next question. 21. When you apply the brakes, the bicycle stops and the rim of the wheel becomes hot. Explain the reason. Answer. It is due to friction between the brakes and the rim of the wheel that it becomes hot. Now come to the next question. Number 22. The eraser gets smaller and smaller as you use it more and more. Explain the reason. Answer. The eraser gets smaller as we use it more due to frictional force causing wear and tear of the eraser. Number 23. List 3 ways of reducing friction. Solution. Friction can be reduced by 3 ways. Number 1. Polishing the rough surface. B. Oiling or lubricating with graphite or grease the moving parts of a machine. C. Providing all bearings or wheels between the moving parts of a machine or vehicle reduce friction and allow smooth movement as rolling friction is less than sliding friction. Number 24. It is difficult to open an ink pot with greasy or oily hands. Explain. Answer. When the hands are oily, then the oil acts as lubricant and reduces the friction. As the friction force is less, it is difficult to get grip of the ink pot and it becomes difficult to open it. Number 25. It is difficult to walk on a wet road. Explain. Explanation. After rain, when the road becomes wet, it results in reduced friction and hence the road becomes slippery and it becomes difficult to walk on this road. Now come to the next page. Give 3 examples to illustrate that friction is a necessary evil. Answer. The examples to illustrate that friction is a necessary evil are: example A. If there was no friction, we would not be able to walk. Example B. If there was no friction, we would not be able to drive vehicle on the road. Example C. If there was no friction, we would not be able to write with a chalk on the board. Next question. Question 27. Define 1. Static friction, 2. Sliding friction, 3. Rolling friction. Number 1. Static friction. The maximum force exerted by a surface on a body so long as it remains stationary is called the force of static friction. The maximum force exerted by a surface on a body so long as it remains stationary is called the force of static friction. Number 2. Sliding friction. The minimum force required to keep the body moving over a surface such that it moves equal distances in equal intervals of time. Number 3. Rolling friction. The minimum force required to roll a body on a surface. Now come to the next question. Arrange the following in descending order of magnitude. Number 1. Static friction. Number 2. Sliding friction. Number 3. Rolling friction. Answer. Static friction is greater than sliding friction and sliding friction is greater than rolling friction. So this is the order of magnitude. Number 29. A body needs a force F1 just to start the motion on a surface, a force F2 to continue its motion, and a force F3 to roll on the surface. What is the number 1 static friction, number 2 sliding friction, and number 3 rolling friction? The second part is state whether F2 is equal, less than, or greater than F1 and F3. Answer. Answer. Number 1. Force F1 is the static friction, force F2 is the sliding friction, and force F3 is the rolling friction. Now the second part of the question. F2 is the sliding friction. That is why according to the order of magnitude, F2 greater than F3, or sliding friction is greater than rolling friction, and F2 less than F1. Sliding friction is lesser than static friction. Now comes the last question of this exercise. Friction is a necessity and also acts as an evil. Explanation. Friction is a necessity because without friction we would not be able to walk on the road, drive vehicles on the road, and write something on the board with chalk. So it helps us in many ways. Now come to the second part of the question. But on the other hand, friction produces heat and causes wear and tear in the moving parts of machines. It also opposes the motion of a body. That is why a higher force is applied to move it. So it can be said that the friction is a necessity and also acts as an evil, as every coin has two faces. This chapter is over. Thank you. I think this little effort of mine will help you in preparing for your physics examination. Best wishes for you.